Hi, I'm Corey, and I have too many tapes. Loosey-goosey. Gotta limber up. Let's just have fun with this. I'm finally back in my element, bad Christian kid shows. But today we're winding the clock pretty far to look at the genesis, if you will, of one of the more bizarre mascot-driven shows in my library. You may have seen it on Everything is Terrible. It has everything. Rapping, totally radical skateboard skills with a Z, mind you, song and dance numbers, milkshake antics, and a giant talking robot that's programmed to love the Lord and help you resist peer pressure. And make milkshakes, I think. It's kind of unclear. Come on in and pull up a chair at Colby's place. This thing is a tight 22 minutes. Knowing that it took almost a decade for the Colby concept to eventually become 1995's Colby's Clubhouse leads me to believe that this was a very expensive pilot. I'm also a little impressed that they kept at it this long. Have you ever pursued any idea for a decade? I hope it was better than...
Colby?
Yes, Lindsay?
Have you ever thought about doing something your friends wanted you to do, but you really didn't want to do it?
Oh, dear. Look, the suit is good, technically. It's not shabby or nightmarish or anything. We're not entering salty territory here.
Me? How about some rhythm loop? Now sit up.
That'll have to wait a little while. I'm not ready for salty again. Not this soon. I'm too fragile. It could kill me. Anyway, this is Colby. We know he's Colby because his name is on his chest in some radical 80s computer font. He's a cool robot with an enormous baseball cap that can print out Bible verses at the drop of a hat. His torso is also a keyboard, but not the right kind of keyboard. I know he sings songs at some point, but I do wonder if there was a miscommunication between the creative team and the designers, and then they just decided to stick with it, Spinal Tap style. Anyway, Colby and this barefoot child are having a deep conversation about peer pressure while they walk on the beach. Because if there's one thing 80s robots love, it's proximity to large bodies of water. Cut to the best credit sequence that Video Toaster can buy. Look at these kids. See how they rock. See how they rock in the void. Rock in the void for the Lord. We get a rad 80s music video montage that feels like it would fit right in on Tim and Eric's Awesome Show. Great job. Colby's Place is filmed before a live audience of bored children. A few notes. Colby has a lot of voiceover in this, probably to patch over the holes in the storytelling, a lot of lingering multicam style shots without a lot of content to put in there. Also, Colby is on roller skates, which is possibly the most sadistic thing you could do to whoever is cursed to be in that giant costume. Giant unbalanced head, zero visibility, and rolling wheels of death strapped to their feet. I can't think of a more embarrassing way to die than by breaking your neck while wearing roller skates in a bad robot costume. Don't care how hard you prayed, you're probably going to hell if that happens to you. Colby insinuates that he has a bit of a romance with his handler/mechanic, which, ew.
I was enjoying an overhaul by my friend and technician, Erica. She's the only one who really understands me. Understands my electronic circuitry. You could say we're computer compatible.
The canned laughter in this is so unbearably old. It sounds like something you'd hear on I Love Lucy. I bet most of the people laughing in that laugh track are dead now. It's not so much funny as it is existentially horrifying, but it's been that kind of year. Sorry. Anyway, surprising nobody, Colby is filled with sand and seaweed. Lindsay goes to return the seaweed to the ocean, I guess. Very conscientious. Just an excuse to go back to the beach, I'd bet. I have questions about Colby's Place, though. Does Colby own the soda shop, or does Erica? She's a teen, so probably not. Can robots own property? Is this a Bicentennial Man situation? Apparently Colby got hit with a wave trying to dig up something metal on the beach because he can only focus on one thing at a time. This is a thread that continues throughout the episode for Colby, but isn't really explored or resolved, really. It's just a fact we need to know about Colby. Which, I mean, relatable. That being said, I wish I could focus on just one thing at a time. Do you have any idea how long it takes me to write these scripts and how much shorter it would take if I didn't take 20-minute long doom scrolling breaks? Fun fact, after I wrote that last paragraph, I did just that. No exaggeration, I have a problem. Most of the children in this show speak in a clear and precise diction that would make John Malkovich extraordinarily pleased.
I wonder if that's a scanner malfunction. I'll have to work on that.
Yo, Ryan! Curtis, my man, how was school?
Hungry.
How could school be hungry?
Oh dear. This is big Gene Hackman talking to Danny Glover in the Royal Tenenbaums energy. Ryan tells a completely irrelevant story about a kid that lied about being hungry to take his lunch, and Colby wirelessly starts a milkshake machine to get that one thing at a time gag going. I'd like to show you the weakest high five of all time.
Outstanding!
Yeah, but I couldn't have done it without your help last night.
If she would have hit any harder, Colby would have rolled backwards into the counter and fallen over, so this is charity on her point. Colby sneezes up a starfish, and the milkshake explodes onto Ryan, and the Tim and Eric vibes just increase to the absolute maximum with this freeze frame page peel combo. 6 minutes in, and we finally get our story type story. We've got a totally radical kid with a skateboard. He doesn't like it anymore. He wants a new $200 skateboard to be cool. His name, unfortunately, is BJ. BJ has a friend who tells outlandish stories all the time, and this causes stress on their friendship. It's less a plot point and more just their dynamic. His name's Justin, and he's just a big ol' liar.
You can't give up, BJ. You gotta keep trying. I didn't give up when I hang glided across the Grand Canyon.
You hang glided across the Grand Canyon?
Just once with my dad.
Justin, you're my best friend. You gotta tell me these things.
Anyway, BJ carries around a poster for this new skateboard he wants. He salivates over it. He must have this thing. Everybody else is skeptical. $200 in 1985 is steep for a skateboard. Come to think of it, $200 in 2020 is still kind of steep for a skateboard for a tween. We get a bit of business between BJ and Colby where his totally radical slaying does not compute with Colby's literal dictionary definitions.
I'm running your words through my database and they do not compute. If it's hot, won't it burn your feet?
Colby, what I'm trying to say is that this board is really cool.
Cool, but I thought you said it was hot.
You know, this could be funny if BJ didn't shout all of his lines at the top of his voice in a pitch that would annoy people in comas. Done being negative for a second. I like that Erica knows how to talk to the computer like a computer. I'm a sucker for overly formal dialogue for comedy's sake. It's a cheap chuckle, but a chuckle nonetheless.
Colby, what BJ's trying to say is that unless you accept the current sociological mandates, other people won't accept you into their peer groups.
The show then tries to thread a really strange needle. By introducing the concept of peer pressure, they posit that it's not important to please your friends and those around you to be accepted. You just need to please the Lord. I get where the message is coming from, but the way it's portrayed in the rest of the episode, well, it's just peer pressure from a different angle, you know? Using peer pressure as a sticking point against secular culture has always been kind of funny to me. Let's break down how they define peer pressure in this episode.
That unless you accept the current sociological mandates, other people won't accept you into their peer groups.
Colby, what she means is some people think you gotta wear what's in style, listen to the music at the top of the charts, and buy what everyone else wants to buy.
Yeah, it's called peer pressure.
But why can't you just be yourself instead of trying to be like everyone else? Why don't these kids just accept you for who you are?
And it makes sense. That is a form of peer pressure, but religion is the ultimate in-group. It's just a question of what you're buying. One offers acceptance from your friends and society, and the other offers eternal salvation and acceptance from a new kind of family. It's a turf war. And sometimes that turf war takes the form of a television show where they spent thousands of dollars on a giant robot mascot costume. The robot prints out a relevant Bible verse, which is just a smaller piece of paper taped to what appears to be a used sticker roll of some kind, and we get a song and dance sequence with plinky synthesizers and menacingly awkward dance moves.
Whatever you do it with all your heart. Whatever you say it with all your heart. Do it unto the Lord and not unto man, 'cause on His word you
solarized freeze frame, and it's no. More song. I've been duped. I feel like a fool. At the end, they really look like they're expecting another freeze frame, a freeze frame that never comes. I like to think that they're still trapped there, in that pose, to this very day. BJ learns exactly the wrong lesson and tries to sell his skateboard to buy the new one for the Lord, with heavy scare quotes, and Colby makes a mysterious phone call in a full-size phone booth that just kind of sits in the corner like we're in a fancy hotel lobby in the 40s. But Colby can't fit in the phone booth, so that poor payphone is just stretched to its limit. Seriously, that cord looks like it's an inch away from just completely snapping. The two whitest children in the world struggle to write a rap. Yes, there's a rap. We'll get to the rap. Guess who does the rap? You're probably right. They try to connect peer pressure to Noah, which leads to a baffling segment called Ear Witness News. The girl has large fake ears because it's Ear Witness News. Get it? She talks to Noah, who is just the guitar kid doing a terrible Count from the Sesame Street accent that occasionally drifts into Russian and some vaguely almost anti-Semitic stuff.
I was just going down the street when all of a sudden I heard this voice come booming out of the sky. Noah, build an ark and put your family and 2 of every animal on there, because for 40 days and 40 nights I will make it rain.
Noah gets yelled at by someone in a pink feather boa who is labeled as the head of the Homeowners Association. This is pretty rich, considering that most HOA types I've ever encountered tend to be, well, wealthy white Christians. There's no way around that one, y'all. Anyway, the newscaster gets a bucket of water dumped on her head like someone forgot the slime at a Nickelodeon taping. So these kids are doing a skit on a soundstage? Is this diegetic or a dream sequence? Never mind. Now, folks, we come to the part of our program that is totally radical. This dude looks like Tommy from the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and he also shouts all of his lines like BJ, but with the delivery of Dr. Steve Brule.
All you have to do is tighten down these wheels a little bit, tighten down the trucks, put a little grip tape down here in the front.
Still looks the same to me.
Dr. Skateboard starts doing some flatland tricks like it's the end of a 2-minute Tony Hawk session and he's trying to get more points out of the run. I have nothing bad to say about this man's skateboarding. He's fine. Good even, but this editing... and this music. Oh, man. I mean, he's good, right? But then there's the rap.
Everybody says just the thing to do from your head to your toes. You got to be cool. Wear the right kind of clothes, talk the right kind of talk. You gotta have the right hair and walk the right walk. Now I'd like to know who made up the rule that you have to keep up if you wanna be cool.
It's a contemporary music piece about how it's weird that you have to stay relevant to please people. You see the contradiction here, right? I'm not stretching too far. It's 1989, they're trying to be as hip as humanly possible with the song, while there's a rad dude with the Christian tude spinning mad skateboard skills in front of them. Now this may be stretching a little bit, but nostalgia cycles tend to run on 30-year increments. They're in a retro 50s themed soda shop, but they're all rocking their contemporary 80s fashion. Maybe this is some weird attempt to reconcile the two? To yank these kids back 30 years to a simpler time of soda shops and Christian values. I don't want to see sinister machinations behind every one of these shows I watch, but the aesthetics of it all is certainly troubling. As a palate cleanser, watch somebody slowly drag this kid across a counter while he raps.
I'm the way that I am, and that's why I say it's cool to be me, 'cause God made me that way.
So the skateboarder introduces himself as Andre Walton, and everybody is super impressed. When you do a Google search for him, it's mostly this show, honestly, which is a shame. He's not terrible, but he manages to convince BJ that his current skateboard is fine, because it's just like the one that he uses.
You know, you might not believe this, BJ, but I have a skateboard just like this one that I use all the time.
Really? You have the same board? Wow, that changes everything. I don't need to buy a new board. This board's just fine.
Now you got it.
I'll tell all the kids at school that I have the same board as Andre Walton. Then they'll have to think I'm cool.
Show! That's just peer pressure! He's cool. He's telling the kid that he uses it, so it's cool. You did it. You did a peer pressure.
Wait a sec, BJ. You don't have to buy a new skateboard to fit into the crowd. You're still trying to impress others by who you know. You're still skating for others, and you're not doing it for the Lord.
Yeah, but...
Okay, you caught it, but just, like, why not bypass that entirely?
You know, BJ, there's a lot of guys that can skateboard real good, but they're not doing it for the Lord. It doesn't matter how good you are, it's what your attitude is. That's what God really cares about. You skateboard for Him and not to show off in front of your friends.
So I skateboard for the Lord?
You do everything for the Lord. You mow the lawn for the Lord, wash dishes for the Lord.
Sing for the Lord.
And write songs for the Lord.
Do taxes for the Lord. Paint frescoes for the Lord. Cheat at Scrabble for the Lord. Overthrow democratically elected governments for the Lord. So now BJ is psyched to skateboard for the Lord. And we end on a skateboard trick. Whatever happened to Colby not knowing how to do more than one thing at once? I wanted the robot to learn and grow. We end on the most canned applause that lasts clear through to the writer's credits, which makes sense. No applause for you. Oh no. This was made in 1989. This is as old as I am. I hope I'm not this hopelessly dated as a human being. So that was Colby's Place. It's awful trash that I made you watch, but it's also cool and you should like it or we're not friends anymore. Oh no. Now I did it peer pressure. Thank you for watching Too Many Tapes. Please like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for notifications when I make new videos. More peer pressure, be cool, get notifications! Also, if you want to check out the work I've been doing with Mississippi Public Broadcasting involving tomes and talismans, including interviews with some of the cast members, check out the link in the description. There may be more of that to come. If you'd like to support a small YouTube creator, why not donate $1 a month to my Patreon? Every penny I get goes into the production. In fact, this may be the last month for these curtains. Little teaser there. We'll see how that goes. If you donate $20 or more a month, well, you're obviously Chase Smith, and you cannot be peer pressured because you skate for the Lord. If you donate $10 or more a month, you're a totally radical song and dance routine about peer pressure. If you donate $5 or more a month, you're all a part of Colby's Clubhouse, and you get special secret access to early videos and my undying appreciation and support. See you next time on the Too Many Tapes Holiday Spectacular. Steal cars, for the Lord. Tie your shoes, for the Lord. Raise prize-winning sheep, for the Lord. Iron your underwear, for the Lord. Collect commemorative spoons, for the Lord. Cheat on your taxes, for the Lord. Survive a cataclysmic global pandemic, for the Lord. The list goes on, really.